and gentlemen.
Our intent was to eat. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.
That's right. We will see you at the national championship. I am Chad. You see Tyler. Welcome to the South End Zone. Fresh off the presses, we have our new intro video ready to go. So thanks everybody for coming in. Don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe, and as always, drop your comments because we love. We're going to actually have a hate mail episode. But we actually were getting some love mail from the Oklahoma fans. Shout out to the Oklahoma fans out there who liked our video and are commenting positively for the kind words we had to say about John Mateer, Ben Arbuckle, Brent Venables, and the whole Oklahoma setup going forward. But look, Tyler brought this up while we were waiting backstage, so I have to do this because we owe it to him. We made him sing the Georgia Fight song 2 years ago when Georgia beat Ohio State in the playoffs to go to the national championship and win a back-to-back. We have to let him have his time to gloat. He has been waiting, 7 months to do this. Jeremiah, this is your chance to gloat. The Buckeyes are national champs. Go ahead and do your thing, man.
Oh man, it feels good to make history again. I will say, being that we were the first team to win the 4-team playoff, it only makes sense that we would be the first team to win the 12-team playoff. I really wish we could have bet on that game because I did have to sing the Georgia Fight song, and I really want to hear Tyler's singing voice because singing the Ohio State Fight song, I think, with his pipes would really bring the show a whole new dynamic.
It's a good thing we didn't play you guys then.
Look,
fantastic. It's been fantastic.
I got good news for you. You only have to wait 10 years until we change the playoff format again for y'all to win another one, and you can bet that year, and then maybe you'll get him to sing it. So, because that's how it works. You win the first one, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they're going to go to 16
after that.
But I think there's a chance that Ohio State and Georgia will meet in the playoffs before they change the format all over again.
Sure.
Well, yeah, you can still gloat even if y'all don't win the national championship.
It's true.
Yeah, that's right. So another guest, a first-time visitor to the show. Right below me, you see a fellow LSU fan. Met this guy back in college. My friend Michael. Michael, welcome to the show as well.
Hey, thanks. I'm taking receipts, so.
I don't know what the receipts are for, but cash them on Jeremiah's ticket. That's all I have to say. All right, so let's get right into it. We have a lot of games to go over today, but 3 big headliners, and we're going to start with the one that is kicking off tomorrow morning at noon Eastern, and that is Texas visiting Columbus to go to the Big Horseshoe to play the Ohio State Buckeyes. Ohio State favored by 1. Jeremiah, you're already doing the Chicken Little thing. But I think it's with good reason because you guys lost 14 starters to the NFL. Like that's a pretty big deal. And then brought in Matt Patricia as a defensive coordinator. You got a front 7 that is missing a lot of guys. You've got some. I mean, you guys are always recruiting very well, so it's not like you're bringing scrubs in. But there is a drop off when you lose 14 of the guys who helped you win a national championship last year, and trying to build that front 7 on defense back with Matt Patricia is going to be I think one of the biggest challenges for you guys.
I mean, yeah, it's anytime. I mean, we seem to rotate defensive coordinators like they're going out of style. I can't stand it because for a while, Ohio State's defense was iffy. And then we finally get on point, and then we get rid of our defensive coordinator and bring in somebody new. You know what? Just hire Luke Fickell back. He's not having much success as a head coach anyway. Just bring him on back so we can have some consistency on defense, and I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I think you're absolutely right, and I think Matt Patricia we'll see as the season goes on. If he's going to pan out. But some people are hopeful. Of course, you know me. I'm Chicken Little. Who knows? I think
little
defense
pessimist.
could be a weakness this year.
Yeah,
That's just me.
The back end is pretty stout though. You got Caleb Downs coming back, Igbenogsen's back, and then Jeremiah Matthews is like your namesake here, who's like played really well in spots when he got opportunities last year, and they're saying great things about him as a cover guy. So but again, I think the challenge, especially with this game with Texas, is going to be stopping the run game, and the fact that you've got a dual threat quarterback, like a legit dual threat quarterback, because Arch Manning can run the ball. How you're going to stack up against that is going to be interesting. But that secondary, it's with the defense, the deficiencies that Texas may have outside with their receivers, losing Golden and losing Gunnar Helm. They brought some guys in, but they're going to have a challenge against that secondary.
Well, I think the to our advantage is that Arch Manning has not. I mean, it's his team now, right? And he is not to be the starter now in such a huge game. Caleb Downs can make you pay. Making them mistakes he's bound to make, with his first big time start. So I think that plays to our advantage a little bit, having Downs. You lose sight of him. You can see Arch Manning throw a couple picks.
Yeah. Well, you know who else can throw a couple of picks? Julian Sayin, who's also doing the same exact thing. He's like coming in and be like, all right, I guess it's my team now. So Brian Hartline at offensive coordinator is the O-line. You have two legit returning starters, but you have some other guys who have played. But how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the offense? I know you got Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. You've got some stud receivers, but can Julian Sayin and that O-line get it done? And you lose you lose Will Howard, and then you lose your top two running backs. So there's a lot on his shoulders.
Oh, for sure. Especially since, correct me if I'm wrong, the only offensive touchdowns scored in the playoff game against Texas were from the running backs, I do believe. Mm-hmm. So with both those guys gone and two new running backs starting, one a transfer from West Virginia.
Yeah.
I that's going to be key to me as how they play to kind of take the pressure off Sayin. I hope Sayin does well because he's got a lot of good potential nicknames for himself. I could just see the Dragon Ball Z gifts.
Me too, bro. That's the exact same thing I thought. I could see just gold hair, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of good potential there. And again, Brian Hartline, new offensive coordinator, great wide receivers coach. Is that going to translate into the offensive coordinator role? I hope so. But we love our Ohio guys, right? So they leave, they come back, they get promoted up from within. Do they always work out? I would say most of the time they probably do, but his game plan is going to be key. I think you got to give it to Jeremiah Smith often. I'm talking bubble screens, sweeps, short routes, feed him the ball as much as you possibly can. And let's see how these running backs do. But it's gonna, I could see this game going either way. To be honest with you, I know we got home field advantage and it's only a 1.5. You said 1 point. I think it's 1.5. Is it
1.5? It depends on who you look at, really. It's when it's that type of number, it's gonna and 1.5 usually. Sometimes I wonder, why does Vegas even set?
It might as well be even money.
Point spreads. What are we doing? Are we trying to push? What? I don't understand it, but whatever. It's what they do. So yeah, you're replacing Will Howard, who threw for 4,000 yards, 35 touchdowns. You're still loaded at receiver. You bring in Max Clare to fill in at tight end, so you bolster that receiving core that already has Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, like I talked about. But you are replacing 2,000 yards and 25 touchdowns on offense in your running game, and you're going up against a quarterback. So I'm going to shift it over to maybe Michael and Tyler to kind of chime in on what they see from Texas. You got Arch Manning. They also lost 12 starters. They also have questions along their front seven, although they also load up with talent at that position. Texas had a lot of guys leave. LSU got Sydir Mitchell from Texas. They had a few other guys leave for other programs, but they bring back their leading tackler and pass rusher in Anthony Hill and Colin Simmons. So there's a lot there. And then they got one of your guys. They got what's his name? Hero Canoe from Ohio State. But Michael Tyler, what do you guys, from what you've seen out of Texas in general in their first year in the SEC, and then also what you've seen from Arch Manning and like what we can expect, like having the Manning legacy for decades in the SEC. I'll start with you, Michael. Like what's your take on Texas as they come into this matchup?
Yeah, that line has shifted significantly in the past few days. It was Ohio State, and now it's really shifted towards Texas. So there's a lot of momentum in Vegas going that way. And I don't know why that is. Certainly Columbus being the home field advantage is going to be a big key. But I think the difference here is, and the reason I'm leaning kind of Texas's way is because of Manning's experience, having started several games last year. Julian Sayin has not done that. So that starting experience, even though it was against, inferior opponents, of course, I think it does make a difference. And the fact that Ohio State is replacing 2 coordinators and Texas continues to keep that system intact, and that talent pipeline continues to, infiltrate. So like I said, I feel like the momentum is going towards Texas right now. And so I'm picking the upset.
Yeah, that's a good point you make about the continuity and scheme, because I think that's not talked about enough with and because we're going to see that at LSU as well, where you got Sloan and Blake Baker for second years at those positions. It does make a big difference to have a system that's already established, and you've got guys who've been in it for a couple of years, and as they grow into that system, even when you bring guys in from the transfer portal, you're more like filling in spots where those guys fit in, and you're not installing a whole new system. Whereas, like you go from Knowles to to Patricia, it's going to be a different system. It's going to be a different setup. And the other thing is too, Matt Patricia coming from the NFL, it's a whole different setup for what type of defense you run in the NFL versus in college, even in some of the bigger conferences like the Big Ten and the SEC. So it's just gonna be interesting to watch. And it's not like Hartline has been like disconnected from the team. It's just his first run as the offensive coordinator. So I think that's a little less of a concern. But the defense, you could have some hiccups, and this is a tough way to start off if you do have hiccups, right?
Absolutely. And the other thing I would say is with Manning is, like you brought up earlier, he's a lot more like his grandfather than his uncles as far as the running ability. Yeah. So Ohio State's really going to have to take that into account.
Everybody forgets who his dad is. His dad was a wide receiver.
Was a wide receiver, right? But you see a lot more. You see a lot of articles about how similar he is.
He is to Archie,
right? But he will have to deal with Caleb Downs, and Caleb Downs is one of those once in a generational type safeties, and I think he'll probably be the highest drafted safety we've had in a long, long time. So he's going to have to keep an eye on him and just try to limit the mistakes, play within the game, and use his feet and to keep Ohio State's defense off balance.
For sure, Tyler. What are you feeling?
I think a lot of what this is going to come down to, especially like coach to coach, is who is going to scheme up a game plan to best and safely get their new guy home in the biggest opening game in probably the history of college football. You want to set up your new guy for success, in a 1 versus – it's hard. It's so weird. Usually when we have 1 versus 2 matchups in college football, we've already seen a lot of these players. We've already seen these teams play other teams. You're talking about 1 versus 2 at a noon game, which is stupid. In the very
Everybody
first
agrees with that.
opening weekend of college football.
Those darn Fox contracts.
Yeah, it's killing you guys, Jeremiah. It really is. I think a lot of what this is going to come down to, in my opinion, is the Texas pass rush. Can they get home on saying? Because I do believe that Day is going to be able to kind of, with the receiving talent that they have with Carnell Tate, with Jeremiah Smith and Brandon Ennis, those are really talented guys. There's been a wealth of talent for years and years and years in the Ohio State receivers room. And so I think that like they will be able to help Sayin through this first game if Day draws it up correctly. However, if that Ohio State offensive line cannot hold up against a Texas pass rush, it's going to be chicken dinner all day for Texas. And I think all they have to do is have to not let Arch do too much. Really, if we're being honest, you can use his legs. You talk about read option. He does not have the returning guys. He does not have the same cast. His strength of he doesn't have the same skill level that Ewers had with the guys he had last year. They don't have Blue. They don't have Gold. They don't have Gunnar Helm. They do bring back Ryan Wingo. They do have Wisner, the running back. Very good, by the way. Not
DeAndre
talked about
Moore,
enough.
Yeah,
DeAndre Moore. Wisner is a very good running back, too. So in my honest opinion, it's really going to come down to, can the Texas pass rush get home? Because in my opinion, the Texas offense is not going to keep up with the Ohio State offense if it gets humming. That's my honest opinion. So I very slightly, given in Columbus, am going to lean Ohio State very gingerly, but I think
you're leaning Ohio State. Okay.
I am, yes. I very gingerly, but I think they can get it done.
All right. Well, so the other thing I think that maybe is getting overlooked is like how good Texas secondary was last year, and they're bringing back Michael Taffy, who's their best DB, and they've got some other guys returning as well. This is a defense that gave up 9 passing touchdowns last year and picked off 22 passes. Like, that's insane. That touchdown interception ratio is terrible. Like, if you're a quarterback playing against these guys, good luck. And then with the beef they have up front in their front seven, if they can get that continuity after they lost a bunch of guys. And like I said, they bring their best pass rusher back and their best linebacker back in Hill and Simmons. And then, like you said, yes, they lost Golden and Helm in that receiving room, but they have an accomplished running back in Wisner. Like and then if their offensive line can actually generate a push against a defensive line that may still be kind of putting it together, a bunch of new guys, and also maybe not a bunch of new guys, but a bunch of guys who were not starters last year with a new defensive coordinator as well. There might be an opportunity there for Texas to maybe control the game a little bit through the run game, especially given the fact that you can do the read option, RPOs and that sort of thing with Arch Manning's ability to run. So let's do it. Let's lock it down. Like, for real, this is it. Don't tell me how you're leaning. You have to place the bet right now. Are you taking the point, or are you giving the point? Or are you taking anybody straight up? Let's call it 1.5 just to be safe, like, so that nobody gets caught on a push. Let's put a hook on there. So I will lead this off. I actually think, no offense, Jeremiah or Drew, who is not here to defend himself, I actually think this could possibly get ugly. I think Texas could actually put it on Ohio State in this game. I think Texas is bringing back a lot more of what got itself to 2 straight Final Fours. And Arch Manning is probably the most, this is weird to say, but the most experienced and accomplished of the quarterbacks that are coming back this year that have no experience or accomplishments. Does that make sense? It's
he's done nothing but
won the Heisman, and he's already the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
So but seriously, I think this could be like a touchdown, 10-point, maybe 2 touchdown type game when it's all said and done. I very seriously doubt that it goes that way in Ohio State's favor. I think it's a close game that Ohio State could win, but I think if anybody runs away with it, it's going to be Texas to me. Michael, I think you were leaning Texas as well, right? But maybe not as heavily.
Yeah, I'd say Texas by a touchdown. Yeah, I think the home field certainly makes a difference, and when you have a Jeremiah Smith, it's like he's a game changer, and you have to defend against that, and so that one player can change the course of a game, with one or two plays, right? So,
Right.
but I'm still going Texas just based on continuity, and the fact that Arch has the more experience of the two quarterbacks, and actually starting games. So,
Tyler, you giving the edge to Ohio State still?
I hate that we have to even do this because there's nothing to go off of. That's what kills me. Like, here's what I'm going to say. If anybody says they know anything, they don't. Around the country, around the world, they don't. Anybody that claims to have an actual beat on this game, they don't. This sucks to have to put my faith in one versus the other. See, there's a part of me that wants to stick with Ohio State, but as we talk about, like, Michael talked about continuity, and I think that's very important, especially in the world of transfer portal and, mercenaries, especially what Ohio State had on the team last year to this year.
There's a coordinator transfer portal too.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say,
Penn
Jim Knowles is at Penn State now.
Yeah, like he goes to Penn State, and then Penn State's Tom Allen goes to where did he go? Where did Tom Allen go?
Clemson.
Is he at Clemson, right?
Yeah, he's at Clemson.
Yeah, he's at Clemson now.
Yeah,
So it's like there's this carousel of like coordinators. So anyway,
all right, I'm gonna
you have the switching quarterbacks of UCLA and Tennessee.
Right.
Like a trade. So.
Yeah, right.
Jeremiah, I apologize. I tried to convince myself well enough, but I'm gonna have to. Right. I'm gonna have to go back to the other side of the fence.
3 against 1, Jeremiah. Are you still sticking with the Buckeyes?
Tried. However, if they can keep the Texas pass rush at bay, I think they can compete. That's what I do say.
There you go. Sure. Well, guys, listen, hey, Ohio State's playing with house money this year, as far as I'm concerned. If we lose this game, I'm okay with it. I just really very badly want to beat Michigan this year. That is my sole focus as an Ohio State fan, is making sure it gets done against Michigan. That being said, this is one of those games where you kind of wish like you were opening up against Akron or Toledo, just for the sake of coordinators.
You guys get plenty of crap opponents the rest of your schedule, so it'll be all right.
Let's not. We'll get into schedules on another episode. But I'll still go Ohio State by 3.
Okay.
Ooh, all right.
A little extra money.
All right. So I'm saying like 10. Michael's saying 7. Tyler's saying like what?
Field goal.
And you're saying a field goal the other way. All right.
Yeah.
All right. It's on tape. We got it. Lock it in. Now it's time for us to go into the next game that we have to cover, which is a much more important game.
Jeremiah, this is where you and I don't have to talk for the next 25 to 30 minutes.
All right.
That's not true. We're gonna call it.
Get in the chat here.
LSU Clemson. The line had moved to like 2.5, 3, and now it's back up to 4 because Dabo Swinney, for all of the way that he tries to play like this, aw shucks, I'm just a good old boy, I'm a sweet down home guy, I'm all of the good that there is in college football, and I just do all the right things. Did something very dirty, and I mean it is what it is. Like LSU's just gonna have to deal with it. But I'm fairly convinced that Clemson has had this information for a long time and waited until Wednesday to bring it to someone's attention so that then it would resurface. So apparently, AJ Halsey, LSU's big transfer safety they got from Houston, led the Big 12 in interceptions last year and is a stud. Like, has been performing great in camp. Apparently, at the end of their last game against BYU, last regular season game, there was a fight that broke out, and he got ejected. Some other guys got ejected. Like, a bunch of people got ejected, and he was one of them. And originally, it was an ejection for unsportsmanlike conduct. Apparently, in December, Houston was notified by the NCAA or the Big 12 or somebody that had been upgraded to an ejection for fighting, which automatically carries with it a first half suspension. Houston, he was still on the Houston roster, went to spring practice at Houston, then entered the transfer portal. Houston never told him. Houston never told LSU. No one ever told anyone but apparently someone told someone at Clemson because some random Twitter Clemson guy said he was doing some research and he found out that AJ Halsey had gotten in a fight at the end of the BYU game and that he's probably going to be suspended. And so, boop, 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 NCAA comes out with a ruling last night, Thursday night. It drops that AJ Halsey is going to be suspended for the first half of the game. So LSU starting safety that they just brought in it's not the end of the world. He's going to play the second half. It is significant though, because this is your starting, and this is one of the areas LSU had a lot of trouble last year. We had trouble stopping the run, especially with running quarterbacks. What does Cade Klubnik do? He uses his feet and his arm. They've got a lot of weapons. It's going to be a challenge, and so Deshaun Spears is probably going to have to step up and be ready to play that role. Michael, what do you think? Do you think Dabo Swinney knew about this the whole time and did this as a ploy to wait until the last minute, 48 hours before kickoff, to drop this bomb, or maybe 72 hours?
There are so many conspiracy theories out there. Some people are saying it was Houston, getting us back for taking their star safety.
Maybe.
I don't know what to think, honestly. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
How these things start dropping at the last minute, and terribly unfair, to be honest with you, to the player, to LSU. I know Kelly was trying to do his best to, make his appeal to whomever he needed to, but it was unsuccessful. So it would have been better if this suspension could have been served against Louisiana Tech the next week. But
even beyond that, wouldn't it have been better to know this the whole fall camp, so that then you can plan for it and be prepared for it, instead of finding out after your last practice before the Clemson game that the guy who has been practicing at starting safety for you is not available.
Right.
It's just a very random time to find out about something that's not that random, I don't think.
Right. No, agree.
Anyway.
But you got to roll with the punches, and Deshaun Spears is an extremely talented safety. The good news is we have another transfer safety under the side with DeMarcus Cooley, which will help out. So we'll have half of our dream safety until the second half, safety scenario until the second half. So we'll just have to, I think Deshaun Spears is an extremely talented player, and we'll do well, and then Halsey will come in the second half. So. Mm-hmm. We just got to do what we got to do and limit any damage in the first half that we have to. So,
the one good thing is we do have the top returning passer in the country. The only quarterback in the country returning after throwing for 4,000 yards is Garrett Nussmeier, and he's starting for our boys. But who's going to protect him, Michael? Because we lost 4 of our starting 5 offensive linemen to the draft. And apparently we did well enough in the transfer portal that the one guy who's returning from that offensive line may or may not even start, because the guys they brought in, both the freshmen and maybe a couple of sophomores, as well as guys they brought in through the transfer portal, are going to be back. So DJ Chester was the starting center for LSU last year. He came in as a guard, but kicked into center when he was called upon and needed for that position. Supposed to kick out to guard, but now he's been battling and may not have won the job as the starting left guard. But I don't know. What do you think, Michael? I kind of think it's going to be Tyree Adams, obviously at tackle, Weston Davis at the right tackle, and then Thompson and Braylon Moore right guard and center. I actually think that DJ Chester might actually get the starting nod at left guard. But what do you think?
I think it's going to be Paul Mbabinga, because at Kelly's press conference yesterday, that's the first name he mentioned in the competition at left guard. I honestly think that Chester's going to be one of these kind of
Swiss Army knife kind of guys.
More versatile players that can play any position on the line, be that first guy off the bench. But was telling this week when he said, as many as 8 players are going to play on the offensive line. So
Is that really good though?
That shows the depth of the program. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I think it
we
shows
have depth, but I think it's
Right.
like the quarterback thing, where if you got 3 quarterbacks, you don't have any.
Right.
If you have 8 offensive linemen,
Well, the good news is I think
you're starting 5.
you bring in 2 guys in the transfer portal that have a lot of experience, have played a lot. Tyree Adams started the bowl game last year. So I think, and Paul Biggett played a lot last year too.
Yeah, he played
So
5 games
it's
when
not
Garrett
like
Dellinger
our
got
offensive
hurt.
line last year was world beaters either, to be honest with you, against the run. I mean, for the run game especially, we weren't terribly effective. So I'm not sure that was the greatest line that we've ever had last year. So I'm saying that I think that may be a little bit overblown. I think our line last year was a little bit overrated. This line may be a little bit underrated.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on that. And yeah, they did load up in the portal, but it wasn't just the offensive line with Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson. They also picked up some speed at receiver. Barry and Brown, who I think has like 5 or 6 return touchdowns to his credit so far at Kentucky. A lot of speed at wide receiver. Chris Hilton made it through camp healthy. So, theoretically, we'll get to see a healthy Chris Hilton. And I think it says a lot that they invited him to media days, because that's one of those ones where you knew it was going to be Garrett Nussmeier. You knew probably Whit Weeks, but you just didn't know, was it going to be like Caden Durham, or was it going to be maybe Tradez Green or somebody else, or Aaron Anderson? It's Chris Hilton. So this is the guy for Jeremiah and Tyler. This is the guy who Brian Kelly got criticized for, like yelling at him on the sideline last year, because he was like, "You're not coachable," because he was the one who kept jumping too early, and he was like, "Why the hell are you jumping all the time? Stop jumping! Just like let the ball run under the ball, keep running." Right. So he's a burner, but he's been dealing with injuries for his entire career, and he's finally made it through a camp healthy. So kind of excited there. So I don't know. What do you think? It's be Dylan Moore, Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, and then I guess we're going to see some Nick Anderson at some point, who's like kind of like a Mike Evans clone to me, like big, long, rangy, not super fast, but like can still Matt Jones you into gaining ground faster than you think you can.
Yeah, I mean, Hilton's your stretch the field guy, game breaker type. Anderson's going to be your over the middle guy. Xavier Thomas, who really nobody's been talking about, has had an incredible fall camp from what I hear. So I think he's nailed down that 3rd starting spot from what I hear. And then Barry and Brown in the return game is going to be just an incredible special teams upgrade for sure. Yeah. And then Nick Anderson, if you can get him, when we get in the red zone and you want to throw a fade, a 6'4" receiver like this guy is the guy you want down there in the red zone. So.
Yeah, famous for the game winner from Dylan Gabriel against Texas a couple of years ago, in that game that nobody expected Oklahoma to win.
And one guy nobody's ever not many people are talking about, Kyle Parker, has a lot.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, we have 6, 7 deep at that position, and so Parker, I think Parker has a ton of potential. He may be one of those breakout guys. So.
And that's a position I don't mind having 6 or 7 guys who can play at any given time. More because the offensive line is where that you need to have that solid continuity. But we'll see how the O-line plays, and they're going to be critical to this run game, because we got some monsters at running back. Harlan Berry, the number 1 running back in this past class, is 3rd on the depth chart behind Caden Durham, who a lot of people are picking to lead the SEC in rushing. And then you got Caleb Jackson, who apparently has kind of he had a little come to Jesus moment last year when he realized that he was trying to live off of his own hype from his freshman campaign, and didn't really put in the work. And now he's back and ready to put in that work. They went on defense. They picked up some monsters for the edge in Patrick Payton and Jack Pyburn. They brought in Bernard Gooden up the middle to go with Dominic McKinley. They also got Jamari Butler on the edge as well, who is going to be in a rotational role. But Jacobian Guillory and Gabriel Relaford and all these guys, you've got some dudes. Ahmad Bro. Do you think this defense is going to be able to show the improvement that we're hoping they'll be able to show, based off of what we've seen the last couple of years, where 2023 was terrible. 2024 was a little better under Blake Baker, a first year, but now second year under Blake Baker, they actually have some dudes this year that are like pushing other guys out of starting positions. How do you feel about the defense?
I think that I think Kelly's challenge when he came in was the numbers game and guys that were, building the roster. I mean, I think this is the most talented roster as a whole he's had, including his time at Notre Dame.
Agreed.
I think he would admit that.
Mm-hmm.
The defense, the one thing that they struggled with last year was stopping running quarterbacks and allowing big plays over the top. I think we've got the safety situation settled with the two transfers.
At least come second half tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Second half. And then, the defensive line, our numbers are so much better as far as depth is concerned.
Yeah.
You got some big dudes. You got some fast dudes like Gooden. I mean, Gooden to me looks like kind of a little bit of an Aaron Donald in him where, fast, get off the ball.
Explosive,
explosive, get into the backfield quick. And then you got the big guys like Mitchell transferring from Texas, who's going to be just kind of a run stuffer. And then Whitweek's kind of being that captain on the defense in the middle and allowing Harold Perkins, I think that's the other key, is the star position, moving him from a traditional linebacker to a hybrid linebacker safety position that they call the star, is going to really open up his game kind of the way he was as a freshman, where he's all over the field. They're putting him in different spots. They're flexing him around. And I think that's going to keep the offense off balance.
Yeah. And so we've talked about it a little bit. They rebuilt that secondary, but it's possible they could have, by the time it's all said and done, may have the best linebackers in the country. I think people are about to see what Whitweeks and then what Harold Perkins as that star position where it's a hybrid, nickel linebacker, safety type, what he can actually do. But let's quickly run through, because I know Jeremiah's got to go soon. Quickly run through what we're dealing with Clemson. So Cade Klubnik, another one of those, and Tyler and I were talking about this a while back, and maybe you and I too, Michael, about how if you look at it like across the entire landscape of the country, the two best quarterbacks who have the same offensive coordinator, they're at the same school, and they're coming back again. It's Cade Klubnik and Garrett Nussmeier. Those are the two guys at the top of the list. Drew Aller would probably be your third, but he's nowhere close to as good as those guys. The numbers aren't even in the same universe that he put up. But Cade Klubnik is one of those guys who, he has actually kind of proven Dabo right that if he just sticks to his guns, that eventually the guy who was a Clemson through and through. And the other thing is too, that's one of the things that's cool about this story is watching two guys who were going to play their entire career at the same school, and they're fifth year seniors. That part is really cool. Walker Parks was supposedly all right, but apparently he's not all right, and he's still kind of not 100%. Their longest, I guess, most veteran returning offensive lineman at right guard, Walker Parks, is a little dinged up. I imagine he's going to play, but he's not going to be at 100%. They're replacing Phil Maffa, his 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, with a wide receiver who has converted to running back. What do you think about Randall? We'll get into that in just a second, because I want to get to our picks here in just a second. But they do bring back their top 3 receivers. Williams, Wesco, and Moore combined for 2,200 yards and 21 touchdowns. And that's a lot. And that for that secondary that was bad last year, especially the back end of that secondary. I think our corners were okay. So Alexander was good, and Ashton Stamps was competent. But no, these 3 receivers are going to give LSU all they can handle, especially with Halsey out for that first half. I would not be surprised if they test the middle of the defense considerably in that first half. But their defense was the 85th best run defense. And let's put this in perspective. This is not the 85th best run defense in the country playing against a whole slew of great running teams in a great conference. This is a conference, the ACC, that leaves a lot to be desired. I'll just put it that way. Okay. This defense gave up, like, I want to say it's 270 yards to the Citadel. And that was in a win. They won that game. I don't have it pulled up. But anyway, that was in a win. Their 4 losses, they averaged 235 yards a game given up on the ground. That's where you can, and with LSU's commitment to the running game that they have spoken about, that's where you can actually hit these guys. They did bring in Will Helt and Jeremiah Alexander to help out that defense. They returned, Peter Woods and TJ Parker, edge rusher, and a guy who can really kind of mess things up in the middle. But that's what LSU's facing in Clemson. It's a 4-point spread. It's time to do it, guys. Let's get our picks. I'm nervous as hell about this. I'm kind of like Jeremiah. I want to be optimistic. I want to stick my flag in the ground and say LSU's going to win this game. I feel like we should win this game. I'm going to be mad if we don't. I kind of also feel similar to Jeremiah that, like, if you lose this game, the season's not over, because if you go through the SEC and play well, although it's tougher, our road to doing that is tougher than Ohio State's road in the Big Ten, because we have like 7 games against top 20 teams, and y'all have like 3. But anyway, that's another story for another day. We'll get into that on another episode, Jeremiah. We can't all play Minnesota and Wisconsin. Some of us have to play Texas A&M and Florida and South Carolina and anyway, Alabama, Ole Miss. All right, so I digress. No, I like LSU to win the game. I think it's going to be close, though. There's a part of me before the Halsey suspension came down. There was a part of me that was like, I think we're kind of going to kick their ass. But now I'm starting to have some doubts. Like, there's too many like little drips of negativity that have come out in this whole thing, and like losing Tristan Keys to Tennessee was frustrating. We lost a recruit yesterday too, right as we were finding out AJ Halsey's being suspended. So, Michael, I'm going with LSU to win it by a field goal. What say you?
Yeah, I have a few things to before I get to my pick, but a few things I want to point out. Number one, Clemson, I feel, has a lot of return. I mean, probably one of the teams in the country that probably has the most returning talent.
It is the most.
Yeah,
It is actually the most.
Right.
Yeah.
That being said, 0-3 against the SEC last year.
Mm-hmm.
Beat one ranked opponent, SMU. They're not playing in the Big Ten. They're not playing in the SEC. This is the ACC. So, and the fact that Kelly has put so much emphasis on this first game. I mean, he is really in the locker room. All the other tiles of the other opponents are blacked out. Clemson is the only one showing.
Right.
The goal here is 1-0, and Kelly knows he's got to win. He's got to win this first game, and so I feel like he's saying we have to win this game, because you lose this game, then you got to go like 7-1 in the SEC probably to get into the playoffs.
Right.
So that's a lot of pressure. So I'm saying LSU wins this game. I'm a late convert to that theory, but I really feel like all those things I just listed out. The fact also that Clemson has only brought in 3 transfers. Dabo's very much against this transfer portal environment. Kelly has embraced it. All those factors being in there, 34-30, LSU wins the game.
All right, high scoring game. Take the over is what he says. Tyler.
I think it is going to be a high scoring game. You talk about literally the 2 best returning quarterbacks in the entire country. Clemson does, like by number you were talking about, it literally does have the most returning starters in the country. They have 16, 8 aside. That is the most. Klubnik has all of his wide receivers from last year. They return their top 2 tacklers. Then you have LSU on the other side. They return Nussmeier. They're going to be stout on defense. I like LSU to cover +4.5. That's going to be my safety blanket.
You're not going to tell us whether they're going to win the game. You're just going to say, I like them to cover that.
To cover +4.5. That's my safety net.
All right. So, Jeremiah.
Man. I think this season is going to say a lot about Dabo Swinney's ability to
Right.
win college football in the era of NIL, because
Mhm.
since transfer portal NIL stuff has been hot and heavy, he's not been able to field a good team. So this will say a lot about Dabo. That being said, I'm going to go LSU 24, Clemson 34.
Oh,
wow.
y'all losing by 10, according to Jeremiah.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
I get it. I mean, it's fine. Like I went against Ohio State. I get it. I will say this though. Like, so for all the
Klubnik punched Texas in the mouth. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just like, I know they lost, but they look good doing it.
Yeah, I know. Like I give Jeremiah a lot of crap about the Big Ten versus the SEC, but I would never do that about the Big Ten versus the ACC, because you want to talk about, like, so yeah, maybe it's a prove it year for Dabo Swinney, but really, like, they can lose this game and then go undefeated and then lose to South Carolina just like they did last year, and it won't even matter. Like, it's still going to be the same Clemson that we had last year. It's like run
Where
roughshod through the
Dabo
ACC.
keeps his job.
Yeah, run roughshod through the weak ACC, and that, call it a day. Doesn't matter if you lose the only two tough opponents you have all year. You beat the. I've looked at their schedule. It's like, who's the best team they played? Louisville. Like, this is what we're talking about here. Like, a team and that's kind of what I was getting at, is that as you look at some of these schedules, it's like some of these teams, their toughest opponent is a team that would be like LSU or Georgia or Texas's like 6th or 7th toughest opponent.
Exactly.
Or maybe not Texas's, because Texas has a weaker schedule relative to. It's similar to last year. Remember, Tyler, where we were like, who has the easiest path? It's Texas.
Mm.
They stubbed their toes twice against y'all, though, so didn't happen for them. But I picked them to win the SEC just because of how easy their schedule was relative to everybody else. I think when you look at Clemson, I think Dabo can, and plus he's got so many of those people in Clemson, that, and just in South Carolina in general, who love him for who he is, or claims to be anyway. AJ Halsey suspension, that they kind of worship him almost, where I don't know that he'll be what.
A little bit. No, they do.
A little bit. Yeah, they worship him. I don't. They're not going to get rid of him. That's for sure.
He'll leave there when he wants. They aren't going to get
he'll
rid of
leave
him
when he wants, and it won't matter if they win another national title or not. It's going to be like they'll be the get to the playoffs. And
they'll contend forever because of their conference.
Right, because
they'll always contend.
Exactly. That's exactly.
They'll always contend.
I want to make one more point. With Nussmeier. I'm ready for him to make that jump between year one of starting to year two, like Burrow, like Daniels, where he's not throwing off his back foot. When he sees 5-10 yards of grass in front of him, he's not trying to make a play. He'll take what he has. He has enough speed, apparently, from what he runs about a 4.5, so he's got that ability to take off and run. He's not going to run like K-12 Nick, but he has that ability. So, and on the defensive side, I want to see LSU contain Klubnik. I don't want him running up the middle. I'd rather him going east-west if we have to. If we can get him going east-west, I think we're going to have a very good day.
Well, I think Bernard Gooden and Dominic McKinley will have a lot to say about that, and that gives me hope, that because those dudes are dogs. But yeah, like the Nussmeier thing. The other thing I liked was Kelly saying in the press conference that they've just been kind of beating into his skull that, like, 0 is an okay is still a good play. We just don't want -13 or a turnover. Like 0 is okay. Throw the ball out of bounds is fine.
Yeah,
you don't throw it into triple coverage. Right. And I get it. Like, he was, he got that gunslinger moniker thrown on him.
I'm tired of the gunslinger. I'm tired. I've had it. That's getting old. So I'd like to see him, show that he's got more of a game than that.
But if he can cut those interceptions in half and then end up with 30+ touchdowns, we'll be good. So our final headliner game, and Jeremiah, if you got to bounce,
do, gentlemen,
man. All right, thank you for coming by, and
thanks for having me.
Go Buckeyes, even though I don't know, it's going to be tough. But appreciate having you on, man. Thanks. All right, so now we can get to just some SEC biased talk. No, I'm just joking. We won't do that. We're actually going to cover a game that is not in the SEC. Doesn't involve the SEC at all, although it may be a sore spot for one, Mr. Hohenschelt. Notre Dame is taking on Miami in Coral Gables. They're 2.5-point favorites. There's no Riley Leonard. There's no Cam Ward. It's CJ Carr versus Carson Beck. And I don't know, man. Like, I'm still having trouble like trying to pin this one down because there's part of me that wants to say like Miami should have the advantage because of the quarterback position, but then I go to the rest of the team and it starts leaning heavily Notre Dame. Jeremiah Love and Jaden Greathouse, that offensive line at Notre Dame. They only have 4 returning starters on defense, but when I go to the other side of the ball, it's like, who's Carson Beck going to throw to? And will they catch it, Tyler? Will they catch it? They should probably catch it. CJ Daniels, one of those receivers. They got some other guys, but it's just going to be really interesting to see how they match up. They got Mark Fletcher at running back, and they're a pretty decent, solid, offensive line group of guys returning. I think 3 out of their 5 starters, and a guy who's coming back from injury. But they're probably going to be terrible on defense again.
Yep.
Because that's just how Miami was last year. They were, Cam Ward became the number 1 pick on the heels of just having to throw the ball damn near every down because they were always either behind or barely hanging on to a lead. So I don't know. What do you guys think? What's the focus for you guys in this matchup?
I could take it. I honestly don't think this is that difficult, in my opinion. I think you take the known against the unknown every time. And the known is that Miami is rocking possibly 11 transfer starters, including Carson Beck. The known is that Jeremiah Love is a dog. The known is that Marcus Freeman has proven himself to be a great coach. Mario Cristobal has not, especially when it comes to managing big games. And I wouldn't have said this before last year. It's in Miami. Miami fans will go to Miami games. Notre Dame walked into Aggie Land last year and beat them.
It doesn't matter what sport it is. Miami fans don't go to the games.
Yeah, exactly.
NBA, Major League Baseball, football, college football, doesn't matter. They don't.
Notre Dame walked into College Station last year and beat Texas A&M week 1. That says a lot about what Marcus Freeman, how he gets his team prepared.
That's right.
It's as simple as Jeremiah Love running behind a solid offensive line once again, and Miami not being able to stop it. I really do think it's that simple. I think that Marcus Freeman will scheme up a defense that is going to confuse Carson Beck and will keep the Miami offense at bay. I also think that Marcus Freeman will do Marcus Freeman things and get at least 1 gotcha, maybe if 2 against Mario Cristobal, considering Cristobal already is known for bad game management. So I really do think that it's Notre Dame, and it might not even be close.
Michael?
Tyler stole a lot of my thunder here.
Sorry.
I honestly think it comes down to the 2 coaches, honestly, the 2 head coaches. And one is proven to play well and, have them prepared well for big games. And one is not. And with Cristobal, I just, it seems like there's always a head-scratching moment with him in a big game, and on the Carson Beck front, I'm not a huge fan. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a program-changing quarterback. And you look at in the trenches, I think Notre Dame will prevail, and that's where the game will be won. But I really think it's going to be coaching schemes that will be the ultimate decider.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's a lot to be said because it's something about it's so weird. Like Dabo Swinney is the guy who does the least in the transfer portal. And then you look at like the rest of the ACC and it's like all transfer portal almost. It's like Florida State has like a whole new roster this year.
Yep.
Miami has almost a whole new roster this year. Like, what are we doing? What's going on here? Like it's wild.
It's tough because like you bring in these new guys and are they going to gel? I think it's
Mhm.
You know, it's important to like at least have some form of continuity. You know, Michael's talked like, you know, gone back to it a couple of times. I think it's very important, especially in these early games until you get going.
Mhm.
And that's what's going to make the difference. That's why if we're going to do picks, I picked Notre Dame to cover and maybe even win by a touchdown.
Let's do it. All right, so picks. It's Notre Dame -2.5. You're saying they win by a touchdown, so they would cover that. I actually think Notre Dame might win this by like 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think they could actually. And the other thing I'm waiting to see is because you saw it last year as a Georgia fan, the frustration with the inexplicable interceptions that Carson Beck would throw.
Yep. He can't read zone
He's not going to have the same quality of offensive line,
Nope.
running game, and he's not going to have a defense to bail him out like he did last year with that.
Miami's defense is not getting you the ball back like Georgia's does.
And so I just think the other thing is I think knowing all those things, I think he's probably putting a little more pressure on himself
For sure.
than he would knowing he had that stuff. I think he was able to be a little more calm and free knowing that the defense had him and that they had so many other weapons and so much help to like win close, low scoring games, 13-12 against Kentucky, FYI. But seriously, that sort of stuff, like he's not going to have that luxury this year in Miami. They play a team like Kentucky and only score 13 points. They're going to lose by 2 touchdowns because Kentucky's probably putting up 30 on them. On that Miami defense, if it's anything like last year's, yeah. So I think it could be a 2 or 3 touchdown difference. What about you, Michael?
I'll say about 10 points. It was a little head scratching back leaving the Georgia program to go to Miami, but could be all about NIL. I don't know.
Head scratching defines that kid's college career in a nutshell, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, and not only that, but like we don't even know how healthy his arm is.
Right. He literally
he didn't do anything in the spring because he was still recovering from surgery, and I'm assuming he's okay. But like, I don't know. Like,
I'll give it to the kid coming in those final snaps when he had to at the end of whatever game that was when he with one arm. I'll give him that.
But you don't have Nate Frazier in Miami, baby. That's all I gotta say. Anyway.
That's right. All right. So our next game. So we're going to just rifle through these last 3 because they're not anywhere close to as important, meaningful, or interesting. But Alabama, Florida State. It's a 14-point Alabama spread is what Vegas has given them, and I kind of like it. Ty Simpson as a starting quarterback. Not sure about that, but we'll see. They are returning 13 starters though. However, Alabama did lose 4 times in 2024, the first time since 2007. And the last time they lost 3 games was 2010. And remember I talked about the transfer portal and the rosters? Florida State is returning 3 starters. Look, with all due respect to those guys from last year, that might not be a bad thing because they were terrible last year. So what do you guys think? I think Alabama should blow them out, but it is going to be hilarious if somehow Mike Norvell and Florida State can pull a rabbit out of the hat and embarrass Kalen DeBoer and the Alabama Crimson Tide in week 1.
Honestly, it's kind of unfortunate because if this was a week 1 game, I don't know, even 10 years ago, this would be the lights out, no doubter, best game of the looking forward to of the entire weekend.
3 years ago, it would have been.
Like not even. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you talk 10, 3, 10, 15, whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
this would be the no doubter best game of the weekend. But now I think it's going to be gross, in my opinion. I think that Alabama might just slaughter them, and then if it's not close, then it's just going to be it's going to be ugly. Like those are the options that you have here. Like, it's at Florida State, so you have that going for it. But I think Alabama's not going to care if they're curb stomping Florida State. So I think this is Norvell's last. He should have had the opportunity to contend for a playoff with Jordan. Even after Jordan Travis got hurt, Chad and I beat that drum. So if you say we hate the ACC, we don't. We believe in good football.
Yeah. No, that is true.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
think
like
about
Alabama.
that, the bench factor of Alabama versus Florida State in that regard. But I don't know
I
that
like
it's going to
Alabama.
matter. Like
It won't.
it's like if a toddler is like really mad at, like, I don't know, John Cena, that doesn't mean he's going to beat him up. Like he can be mad as he wants to be. It's just, he can get beat down.
I like Alabama by any amount of points you pick.
You like Alabama by what?
Just any amount of points, man. Like, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Give me a number, I'll take it.
So the 14 is
sure.
plenty generous enough for you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Michael?
And, look, I'll give Norvell credit bringing in Gus Malzahn.
Mm-hmm.
Good move, a transfer quarterback out of Boston College, but he's been running his mouth a lot.
Oh, that's right. It's Castellanos, isn't it?
Yeah, so
Joey Castellanos,
I don't
baby.
think Malzahn is worth 14 points. I'm just going to say that Alabama will take it by a lot. And we'll see how good Ty Simpson is. It'll be a good test for him. It'll be not a cupcake, but somewhat quality opponent to see where he is, and you get a feel for him for the rest of the season. So
a presumably quality opponent. It will remain to be seen whether they're
I mean, it's not it's not North Texas, but it's
but isn't that the Alabama specialty though? Like if you go back and look, even in the Saban years, go back and look at the history of their marquee matchups in the early part of the season out of conference. It's always some team that ends up going like 6-6, but they look like a high quality team. And they just have this magic way of like scheduling like a team that is not going to be good, but has a name.
Yeah.
Like they'll schedule
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, and then Wisconsin goes like 7-5.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so they weren't actually good.
I would like to go on record about this, this first big game. I think it's not a great thing. And I don't think it's not necessary anymore, to be honest, in the current landscape because of the 12-team playoff and presumably 16-team at some point. If it were my choice, I'd be playing Clemson the second game of the week at LSU, and we'd be playing somebody else. Get the kinks out. I think it really, but it's all about money, and it's all about this is we have 3 top 10 games in week 1. So I mean,
right.
This may be the best week 1 ever. I don't know.
It is the best week 1 ever. Yeah. And it's like, I mean,
well, it's the best. It's the most top heavy week 1 ever.
It's for sure. Cause I feel like
there's been some other better, like 9 matchups that were really good.
Yes. Definitely most top heavy. Like, and I feel like we typically end up in the Chick-fil-A kickoff and the Benz. And now I think it's South Carolina this year. Like we've had to also play like some tough matchups. We've had we're either playing Oregon and Clemson, or we're playing Marshall like we are this weekend. It was supposed to be UCLA, but they backed out. It's whatever. But so I think it's like, I agree though, Michael. It's like some people like the big game first just to kind of see what you're made of, and then some people like the cupcake to kind of get your feet underneath you. It just kind of depends on who you are.
And the SEC comes out with the 9-game schedule,
right?
And one of the stipulations is you have to play one major conference, out of conference opponent per year, right? But you can work around that. I mean, you could
for sure.
You don't have to play
schedule Rutgers. Oh wait, no, that's a Big Ten team.
You don't have to play Clemson. You can play, SMU. I mean, what I'm saying is, you don't have to go.
I agree.
One of the top 5 teams in the country going in, you can work around that. And I mean, we have enough. Our schedules are tough enough as it is. In the SEC, and I feel really bad for Florida this year with the schedule that they were given. So, I think they've got the toughest schedule in the country. So,
South Carolina isn't a joke either. LSU's actually isn't great. No. Like it's a tough schedule, but Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Florida have like 3 very, very tough schedules. That's why we featured them in our Pump the Brakes, Pump the Tires series.
Yeah.
So. Syracuse, Tennessee.
Upset alert of the weekend.
Joey Aguilar replacing Nico Iamaleava. And then Steve Angeli replacing Kyle McCord. What do you think, guys? What are your picks? We got 2 new quarterbacks. It's the carousel of quarterbacks again.
Is this in? Where is this at? Is
This one is
New England?
in Atlanta, I think.
Oh, is this in the Bends? Oh, I thought it was South Carolina was in the Bends. I'm sorry.
No, South Carolina's playing. They're also playing in Atlanta.
Oh,
So I don't know what. Let me see what. So South Carolina, Virginia Tech is Sunday at 2:00.
is
3
it like
Eastern.
one game
in
each
Atlanta.
day?
Yeah.
Oh,
So let
look
me
at that.
see. Tennessee.
Mercedes-Benz just loves getting these games in there, man. They
Look, man,
rake
it's
in the dough.
great venue. Yeah, tomorrow at noon Eastern.
There you go. So
at the
You don't have
Benz,
to worry
is
about the
Tennessee
grass
and
getting
Syracuse.
torn up.
exactly this a lot of people are picking this as like because of not having Nico. I know they're going to do what they can with Aguilar. The head coach you'd want to try to make whatever work with a quarterback is absolutely Josh Heupel, no doubt about it.
Yep.
But 14 is a lot of points for a first game with the guy you didn't expect to have as your quarterback. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Like I could see Syracuse covering that spread. Like I really could. Like
and Angeli looked good in the little bit of
Yeah.
time that he had against Penn State in the playoffs.
And Syracuse kind of ended last year on an upswing. I know that was with Kyle McCord, you know, a great quarterback. So we'll see. I just think that like 14 is a lot given the trajectory of the teams coming into the season. That's kind of where I'm at. I wouldn't be surprised if Syracuse covers.
No, not at all. I'm kind of with you on that. I actually would probably pick them. I do want to say though, those marquee matchups that we talked about. So let's just remind everybody of how these are going. It's Texas at Ohio State, LSU at Clemson, Notre Dame at Miami. Like I'm low key feeling like a road team parlay.
That could be the move.
Like I would probably do like, just because I don't want to be responsible for jinxing it, I would probably do like LSU plus 7.5 or something like that, just to like keep it real. So I'm not saying that there, because I'm not stitious.
Just a little stitious.
Yeah, I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. Anyway, I'm not stitious at all. But Tyler has this thing where he like lights $100 on fire when he's nervous about a matchup. He bets against Georgia, just to make it kosher, so he can.
It's brought home 2 national championships, baby.
2 natties. You apparently don't do it enough, because y'all should win all the time if it was really effective.
Well, we do it when it matters. And
so let's talk about that other game that's on Sunday at the Benz. Virginia Tech against South Carolina.
With Tennessee, real quick.
Oh yeah. Oh my bad. Yeah. Sorry. I
Sorry.
thought you had already done it. My bad. Yeah.
No, I think trading Nico for Joey may end up turning out better for Tennessee in the end. To be honest with you, somebody who wants to be there, and
that's totally fair.
Yeah. So I'm saying Tennessee. I'm not saying they're cover, but I think they'll win by double digits. So.
Yeah. Well, and let's real quick. Let's just take a second to talk about that scenario, because I will say, like, props to Josh Heupel for nipping what could have been a very, very bad precedent in the bud.
Seriously.
Because if you have a guy go into like spring camp and hold out basically for more money, and you allow that to happen, and the precedent that you set is you give him more money, you are opening up Pandora's box for the whole college football landscape. And then they're going to have to like make rules against it or something like that.
I think he saved his program. Honestly.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Absolutely.
Not one player over the entire team.
Yeah,
right.
I think
the locker room would have been completely divided.
Yeah, I think you save and secure your locker room by doing that. Like that means that you believe in the guys that you have, and you're not going to put one guy over the team, no matter who he may be. And I think you would have to think that the players appreciate that, and then therefore even believe in their coach more.
And did he even really play that well last year, Nico?
No, he didn't, and that's the crazy part.
So I mean,
he's got the most famous run out of bounds ever.
Yeah. So I mean, are we going to see that much difference in the two? I don't. I mean, look,
Heupel will make it work with whoever's the quarterback.
Joey's on a better team. There's no doubt. Joey's on a better team.
Yeah. We shall see. We shall see.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, I think I'm glad Heupel did what he did, because it would have been a very bad precedent to set. All right. So that other game that's in the Benz, it's on Sunday at 3:00 Eastern, is South Carolina and Virginia Tech. It's, Shane Beamer playing against his dad's old team, and or coaching against his dad's old team. we made the mistake. We got roasted for it by the South Carolina folks. I misread a magazine or something. I thought it was in Blacksburg. My bad, guys. Okay, go ahead, skewer me some more.
Hands up accountability right here in this podcast.
I got it. I know I was wrong, and I'm
me.
sorry. But yeah, so 7.5 point favorites are the Gamecocks. Lenora Sellers has all the hype that you could possibly want out of a second-year quarterback who completed, like, I don't know, a little more than half his passes and had like a, I don't know, 1.5 to 1 interception or touchdown to interception ratio. Runs the ball really well, but like I just wonder, and you lose Josh Simon, the tight end, who was their leading receiver last year, not John Simon. I apologize for that one too, South Carolina fans. What else did I do to this South Carolina fan? But I don't know that South Carolina's going to be able to do what everybody expects them to do this year, which is do better than 9-3, just because they assume that everything that went wrong last year is going to get better and that nothing that went right last year is going to get worse. And maybe even that nobody else got better around them. But I do think this game, 7.5 seems like light to me.
It feels. Wait, it's always 7.5. I didn't see the number.
7.5 feels light.
I feel like. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think South Carolina wins this by a couple of touchdowns.
Yeah, I was gonna say even if they go 9-3, let me tell you, this is not one of those three.
No,
I was gonna say this is not one of those three. This is Lenora Sellers setting the hype train even on more. And South Carolina loves to ride the hype train, so this is what kicks it into gear. Yeah. This is not where he stubs his toe. This is where we see him ball out, because you and I both said, which people don't listen to, this is one of the guys we believe in the most in the country, who has some of the most talent in the individual talent in the entire country. And I believe that he will absolutely get it done against Virginia Tech.
And I'm obviously not a Virginia Tech like beat writer, so I don't have like the inside pulse on like why they're going to be great this year and why
they're supposed to be good last year.
Good enough to be within a touchdown of South Carolina in a season opener. But I will say this: 2 of their best players play for LSU now. Braylon Moore, their starting center, plays at LSU now. And Mansour Delane, one of their starting corners, starts for LSU now. So okay, good luck, man. I wish you all the best, but I'm taking South Carolina here, minus the points. What about you, Michael?
Yeah, I'm going South Carolina all the way here. They should have beaten LSU last year, honestly.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Doesn't go out of that game, and if you don't have that penalty, the roughing the
2
passer,
of them really.
roughing the passer at the end on Nussmeier, we lose that game. So we were very fortunate to get out of Columbia. That said, I do think he's a good quarterback. I think that I don't think Virginia Tech will be much of a match for him. So let's see how he does, and let's see how he does the rest of the season. But South Carolina is one of those teams that is still a little scary, honestly, on our schedule, on the LSU schedule, even though we have them at home. Because they do have some dudes. They really do. Nicholas Harbor is an incredibly, it's like
he's a monster.
Freaking wide receiver. Yeah.
He's a monster.
And when we recruited him, I don't think we were recruiting him a wide receiver at LSU.
Right.
So,
Yep. All right. So moving along, we got our next.
Bring this puppy home.
Is Auburn at Baylor, -1.5 over in Waco. You got Jackson Arnold and Cam Coleman and 11 returning starters against Sawyer Robertson with his 3,000 yards passing, 28 touchdowns and 8 interceptions, leading 14 returning starters for Baylor. This is a team LSU took to the woodshed in the bowl game. But I don't know. Hugh Freeze brings Jackson Arnold over from Oklahoma, and Oklahoma brings John Mateer over from Washington State. And I think it could be one of those things where like both of those teams got better as a result. I'm interested to see what Auburn is going to be able to do this year. I don't know. This is going to be a tough environment to play in. And they're favored by 1.5 on the road. And I don't know, man. Dave Aranda and Sawyer Robertson, I think this is 5th year senior. This is a team that has a lot of dudes returning. I know Auburn's been doing a great job of recruiting the last couple of years with Hugh Freeze, and they've got a lot of dudes coming back and some young talent coming up too. But I don't know. I feel like this one makes me want to lean Baylor, even though it's supposed
I
to be
feel the
SEC,
same way.
SEC. I feel leaning Baylor.
No, there's a lot of buzz that Baylor's supposed to take an even bigger step forward this year with Robertson. And I think that Auburn's walking into a trap even though it's a minor favorite, they're still favored here. And what did Arnold really show us last year that makes us think that he's going to light the world on fire this year?
Mm-hmm.
Not much. Sawyer Robertson you just put the stats up, 3K, 28 and 8 is a pretty solid, for what ended up being like upper mid-level Big 12 team. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that, you return – I'm going to keep using Michael's word because I love it so much. Continuity, baby.
I mean, Baylor's got it.
Yeah, Baylor has that has that for days. So I am going to actually take Baylor here over
I
Auburn.
think this is the make or break year for Hugh Freeze. Honestly.
And Auburn does this. They don't win these games. Like these weird – they don't. They really don't. They
lost to Cal last year, didn't they?
They went out to Cal and lost. And then, what's crazy is they let them go play these games on the road, which is even dumber. Right. But I like Baylor here. I do.
And Auburn doesn't have patience with coaches.
They don't.
I mean, you're flying in Bobby Petrino while Tuberville's still there. Look, they ran off Gus, who beat Alabama several times. So I don't know how much patience Auburn is going to have. So if Hugh Freeze loses this game to Baylor, which I think he will, that's not a good start. To this, is it his third season or his fourth now? I'm trying to remember.
Third,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not a good. That wouldn't be a good start to his third.
Yeah, that's so. We all on Baylor.
I think we're all on Baylor.
All right,
we're all on Baylor. Yeah,
go Baylor.
Baylor straight up. Forget the points.
Yeah, I was gonna say we don't need the points. We don't need that 1.5. Give me straight up.
Yeah, that's right.
I'll take the juice.
So
wow, it's week 1. We're back, boys. Football's back.
We're officially back. We're all the way back. It's time to start watching some football. So guess what? I'm going to throw this invite out there. This is for you, Drew, and Jeremiah as well. But you too, Tyler, since you're here on screen. Michael's coming over to watch the game tomorrow. If anybody else wants to come over, come on over. We're going to be throwing down. We're going to be eating some good tailgate food and watching the game on the big screen. So looking forward to it. And Michael, I look forward to watching LSU kick Clemson's ass in person. And anyway, we'll enjoy it. So we got some big games this weekend. It's like we said, it's the most top-heavy game or week 1, possibly in the history of college football, where you have 3 top 10 matchups. It's not a whole lot else worth watching.
And
but
Georgia's going to be Marshall.
Yeah, we got you. You got I forget. Yeah, who are y'all playing again?
Marshall. Yeah.
Marshall.
I mean, not Marshall. Marshall plays for Southern Miss now. This is a whole new team.
Yeah, right.
Every team in the NFL is going to have a scout at both of these games. It's just going to be like a scout fest. Kuiper's already just drooling over. The talent on the field of these 3 games is just going to be insane. I appreciate you guys having me. So
I'm looking forward to Barian Brown and Aaron Anderson and Nick Anderson and Chris Hilton and Xavier Thomas just blowing the top off of that Clemson defense, and Caden Durham running it down their throats the whole game with my man Garrett Nussmeier behind the controls. I'm with you, Michael. I'm waiting. I want to do the breakdowns. We'll probably do it after we come out of this game. We'll see how this game plays out. But I kind of want to remind everybody of the delta between Joe Burrow junior year versus Joe Burrow senior year, Jaden Daniels junior year versus Jaden Daniels senior year, Garrett Nussmeier junior year versus Garrett Nussmeier expectations for senior year, because that second year as a full-time starter, I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and just assume that that's guaranteed, but the history may repeat itself, where you get that type of.
Do we want to do a little Heisman pick real quick? I mean,
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Season starts. I mean, we might as well. We're here.
Yeah.
Get on the nuts bus all the way.
I was going to
pull
say
Burrow. He's going to pull the Daniels.
Yeah, I have no reason to not believe that it's not Nussmeier. I mean, I do really like the chance. If all things work out the way they do, I think that Lenore Sellers and DJ Lagway could be in New York. I like it's either, in my opinion, it's either Garrett Nussmeier or Lenore Sellers.
So I think it's I like Garrett Nussmeier as a pick as well, just because of what I just talked about with Burrow, Daniels, and then what I expect him to take in that step forward. But my other guy who, if I had to pick a second guy, if it's not Nussmeier, is Jeremiah Love, actually.
That is also a great pick.
I actually think like he's going to be able to put up some big numbers. They have a schedule that allows for him to possibly just pop off. And with CJ Carr at quarterback, I think they're going to lean very heavily on that run game and that offensive line, because they don't need. And the other thing is too, like you're replacing 900 yards rushing and like 17 touchdowns from Riley Leonard last year.
Right.
So like the run game is going to go through Jeremiah Love, and CJ Carr is going to be back there throwing the ball, and they might be dumping the ball off to Jeremiah Love. So that's my kind of sleeper pick, I guess, so to speak. I really like Jeremiah Love as a.
Well, I think if it's not Nussmeier, honestly, I think it'll be Klubnik.
That's also probably fair. And we haven't said Arch. None of us have said Arch, but we'll see. I don't know. We don't know enough. I think I think the hype is not deserved yet, in my opinion. It never was. That's like legitimately. I don't think that the hype is. Obviously, if he does it all, then everybody was right. They get to be right, and what to do. That's what everybody does. They just want to be able to say they were right. I'm not saying he's not going to be good, but we got to let him actually play the game first.
He's got to be better than Quinn Ewers.
I think he will be. That's not hard to do. So I think he can do that for sure.
So,
all right,
quick question, a little trivia, since we're bringing up Arch Manning, right? How many Heisman trophies does the Manning family have? Zero.
Oh, that's right. They both.
Archie didn't win it. He finished 4th. Peyton didn't win it. Eli didn't win it. Why does everybody just assume Arch is going to win it?
How many national championships do the Mannings have?
Zero.
And who won the national championship the year after Peyton left?
Tennessee. T.
And
Martin.
was the quarterback, and T. Martin.
That's right. It's look, man. Michael and I are on the same sheet of music here.
We're just spouting stats.
We're just giving you facts. That's all we're doing.
Going back to college days where we spouted stats at each other.
That's right. So I'm not buying the Arch Manning thing. I think that defense and their ability to run the ball is going to be more of what leads them to.
I'm buying him next year if he stays.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to stay. That's the thing. I think he's probably going to.
Well, I mean, that's
going to bolt. Yeah. I know. Archie said he's going to stay, and that's the plan and all that stuff. But I don't know, man.
He's going to be a first-round pick one way or the other.
Yeah,
because of the name. So, but.
Yeah,
what
for
order
sure.
that we don't know the order yet, but there's at least 6 or 7 guys that could be first-round quarterbacks coming out this year. So
that's right. But anyway,
right, man.
That's a wrap. Noon tomorrow, Texas Ohio State. Let's get it. And then later on tomorrow in the evening, 7:30 Eastern, LSU Clemson. We're excited about it. College football is here. It's 2025. This is the South End Zone, or has been anyway, the South End Zone. He's Tyler. I'm Chad. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. We're out of here. Peace, y'all.
Ladies and gentlemen. Our intent was to come eat and be hungry.
We're taking receipts, and we'll see you at the national championship.